Let me tell you something about me. When I walk into an airport, I don't just see people. I watch the gate agent. I watch what happens when a flight gets delayed, who gets louder, who stays calm, who looks around before they speak. I was at an airport once where a flight was delayed and the gate agent got defensive immediately. Her voice tightened. She blamed weather, she blamed the system, and within 5 minutes, the passengers escalated. Same information, two different outcomes. The pattern wasn't the delay, it was the regulation. I do the same thing in restaurants. You can tell in 60 seconds whether a manager runs on clarity or tension. You can see if the servers are confident or walking on eggshells. You can feel whether the kitchen is coordinated or controlled. I don't even mean to do it. I just see it. And here's the thing. Most people think they're observing performance. I'm observing patterns, and patterns tell you everything. The most expensive mistakes in leadership don't happen because leaders don't care. They happen because no one slowed down long enough to observe. And that's what I want to talk about today. How to observe a company before you try to fix it. Welcome to the Kathie Owen Perspective, where we talk about human patterns, real leadership, and what actually destabilizes companies under pressure. My name is Kathie Owen. I'm a private consultant. I work with founders, executive teams, and acquisition leaders to identify hidden human risk inside high-stakes environments. Not service culture issues, not motivational noise, human pattern instability. And the reason this matters is simple. You cannot fix what you have not mapped. Most consultants walk into an organization and start prescribing solutions within days. They restructure, they replace leaders, they implement new systems, and it looks productive. But speed is often mistaken for competence. Leaders expect visible action. Boards expect movement, and consultants feel pressure to prove value quickly. But quick solutions applied to unobserved systems often reinforce the exact patterns that created the issue. There's always a surface problem. Underneath it, there's a structural loop. Restructuring a team without addressing entitlement, replacing a leader without diagnosing emotional culture, implementing new systems without evaluating attachment dynamics, the pattern survives and the problem returns, just wearing different clothes. When I enter a company, I don't start by fixing, I start by mapping. And no, that's not passive. That is strategic. I watch who interrupts who defers automatically, who overexplains, where tension spikes, where energy drops, how disagreement is handled, who people look at before speaking. That is human data. I call it behavioral climate mapping or human environment diagnostics. It's executive intelligence, not emotional commentary. I'm not judging personalities. I'm identifying recurring loops, pressure to reaction, to reinforcement, to silence, to repeat until someone sees it. I once sat in a leadership meeting where every single executive looked at the founder before even answering basic questions. Not because they didn't know the answer, because they were scanning for approval. That told me the culture was permission based, not ownership based. Here's something leaders need to understand. Disruption is almost always detected at the edges first. Employees feel instability long before leadership names it. You'll see sudden hesitation in meetings, whispered recalibrations in hallways. I've watched high performers go quiet, not because they were disengaged, because they realized candor was not safe. That shift happens long before metrics show it. High performers quietly withdrawing, middle managers getting more defensive. energy shifts that no dashboard captures. The issue isn't that leaders don't care, it is proximity. And when you're at the center of power, you lose peripheral vision. Observation restores it. And when leaders are willing to listen to the edges, integration stabilizes, retention stabilizes, and performance stabilizes. In mergers and acquisitions, this becomes critical. Financial diligence is structured. Legal diligence is structured. Operational diligence is documented. Human diligence, it's rushed. And human instability is what destabilizes integration. Identity clashes, power ambiguity, founder attachment, defensive leadership. None of that shows up on a spreadsheet, but it shows up 6 months later. Observation before intervention protects enterprise value. I'm going to repeat that because it's important. Observation before intervention protects enterprise value. It prevents reactive restructuring, it prevents cultural collapse, and it allows precision instead of panic. Observation is not hesitation. It is disciplined restraint. It is leadership. The most powerful leaders are not the fastest. They are the ones who see. If you want someone who enters quietly, maps precisely, and intervenes strategically, that's where I operate. If this resonated, I wrote a full blog post on this topic with deeper breakdowns and additional resources. You'll find that linked in the description and show notes below. And if you know a founder, executive, or acquisition leader who needs to hear this, send it to them. Because the real risk in most companies is not operational, it is human. And patterns don't disappear under pressure, they amplify it. All right, that's my episode for today. I trust that you found it helpful, and I will see you in the next one.